Good morning from a breezy, possibly rain, definitely rain, quite sunny, quite warm Peterborough. Where are we up to now? Trying to smooth out the mayhem, taking stock of all the positives, because there are quite a number of positives, and hopefully get this finished next week. A few shout outs. I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe Devon Coy had his birthday on the 8th of May. I had my birthday on Monday, 10th of May. James the Coy Whisperer, 11th of May. If you don't follow those people, you should do. Dave Bradley, Decoy, nice to see him back. He's been gone too long, but totally understand why. So nice to see him back. Law Magro, you need to follow this lady. Doing a cracking job down, she's South Coast, Hampshire? Might be down there somewhere. And to Tilford Koi Pond, is it Phil? That last video you did, Phil, my goodness, I was like expectant father watching that. When you were hovering over that start button, I'm thinking, please, 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 start up first time. We need to see that. Also very jealous over your pond cover, because that was just the perfect shape, the perfect cover and the perfect weather to get yours fiberglass. I wasn't that lucky, but cracking job, mate. Very, very pleased with what you've come up with, and you certainly know your stuff. Try not to face plant anymore. No, none of that, none of that. I'm going to show you some stuff in the shed later. I'm going to show you some stuff in the garage later, and I'm going to show you some stuff in the paddling pool later. So in the meantime, watch what's coming up. I will probably add an after when this has been sorted, because there are changes afoot. Stay tuned. So when you've got time on your hands and you've got some spare floorboarding, and Matt is a fan of air rifles, you make this. Little targets out of washers, bit of insulation tape on, so he can practice for his arts content. Even a carry handle. How thoughtful. Anyway, moving on. So what have I been buying now? This will all become apparent, but this is the 8 metre by 4 metre DPC membrane. It looks very, very tough. This box weighed about 10 kilos, and I'm not undoing that just yet, because tomorrow my mate is coming over. What are we on, Tuesday? So yeah, Thursday morning, I beg your pardon. He's coming over, ex-builder, and we're going to strip down the nuclear bunker over the top of the pond. There's one or two things that I'd never been happy with, so I'll show you them. And then there's something that I need to show you in the shed, because I've been to Absolute Koi as well. So I need to get the shed open. Won't be a moment. Then we had a heron sat on that the other day, so of course you go and check your goldfish. Well, there's one or two there, you can just see them, but there was a dead goldfish on top of that weed there. So of course you inspect the fish, and there was no stab marks, there was no marks on it whatsoever. Perhaps it's died of old age, I just don't know. Anyway, trip to Absolute Koi, because I was in Newark yesterday, and I bought this measuring bowl. I think all my fish put together won't get to 65 centimetres, but that's what it is. $37.95. Not the cheapest, not the most expensive, but good enough for us. So when it comes to taking the fish out and putting them in the pond, which will happen, we will measure them, date time them, and see how they progress in the new pond. I'm going to put a section of video on with the camera inside the paddling pool as it stands. It's a little bit murky. I'm doing cleans every day because clearly the filter is not up to what I would hope, but it's still doing a cracking job, so we'll leave that there. And let's go have a look at the pond with the nuclear bunker over it. I'll talk you through how far we've got with that. I'll follow you. Grass needs a cut. Oh, blackbird there, which is going into that nest in there. Right, here we are in the nuclear bunker. We keep getting persistent rain showers. We're getting 3 leaks constantly. One tiny one, I think where that joint is, there. Am I pointing in the right place? Yeah, one there. One just where there's the overlap, which drops on here and sometimes drops into the pond. But this is the big one. Behind this window is a sloping path, and it naturally comes towards this opening. Now I've tried to use this waterfall foam and it works up to a point, but there you go, one little splash there. It still gets through in this corner, so we've got that to look at. One or two other things that I'm going to change when me and my mate take this down is these ends are creating a big problem because of the tension on the tarpaulin. And even though I've put these wrapped up bits of rag, the tension is still great enough to create splits. So what we're going to do is take this joist and put it on the end of there, so it'll be flat at both sides. Now you're probably thinking, come on Steve, sort this out. But we've got one or two little problems with the layout. So the previous video was what the requirements are of the fiberglass. Bear in mind I didn't mention the fumes. So he needed a 4-foot head height. So this is about 5 foot? No, not 4 foot head height. 6 foot, about 6 foot here. I've got no leaks in the upper part of the pond. We know about the leak in the middle section of the pond, which is coming through this bit, and we know about the leaks in the bottom of the pond. This greenhouse is just been a pain. It's just in the wrong place for this task. I cannot put the roof line this low because I'm not providing the headroom required by Matt, because this is about 3.5 foot, so that's clearly not on. I cannot slope it all this way because the only section of flat wood that I can play with against the greenhouse is there. I can slope it this way, but the water then comes down here and will gather in that portion and come through here. I can't slope it backwards, again because of the greenhouse, so we've got to find a way of sloping it towards here, towards this window, but then make sure that the water doesn't fall in this bit of a gully there with that sloping path what the hose pipe is on. That's what we've got to try and overcome. Cobwebs. In the meantime, I've just been having a look at the quality of the job. This is clearly not the completed job, but these window frames, absolutely solid. The joints between the original and the new, lovely and smooth. Chamfered here, lovely and smooth, even smoother when the floor coat goes on. That window will sit in really nice. against this flush edge, and sit on top of there. It's just looking lovely jubbly. These will be opened up when the floor coat goes on, and I've got to put some sealant on round the inside of there, round the inside of this midsection return, and round that one in the corner. So stay tuned for hopefully the new and improved roof or structure, and fingers crossed, Matt, if the weather and the temperature and the planets all align, will be coming on Monday the 17th. If Matt's not happy with the weather or the planets or the temperature, he won't be coming until he's ready. He gives a professional job, I want a professional job. That's as far as we got. Good afternoon from a windy, showery again, miserable, dank, horrible Peterborough. Negatives: it's just stopped raining. Or is that a negative or positive? Anyway, positives: it's this Chernobyl Part 2. My mate has just left and built this. So the original structure finished here, both sides, which left points, and that tore the tarpaulin, so we decided to go full width all the way across. I went to a company called Polyfast, and they have this material. Now this is called DPC or DPM, 8 by 4 metre 1200 gauge waterproof sheet. This is incredibly strong, and that covers the entire roof, which now slopes downhill towards the grass, and the soakaway, which is, I'll get to that. We've also put a skirt round it using some just standard stuff. My mate had some in his garden rolled up. The overhang at the far end is a fair old distance. You can see the water just dripping off it. This end we've left open just purely for daylight, and also this end, which has also got a 3 foot overhang, 2.5 foot, 3 foot. Overall, very pleased. We've had the hose pipe on it, and we had one tiny drip. So basically the same place we had it before on a slat, but a different slat. But we've now filled that with mastic or silicone, hosed it again, and this time it didn't leak. Happy days. Current temperature in the bottom of the pond, and Matt Williams has asked me to keep him updated, is 15 degrees, so it's holding a good temperature down there. I've sealed this back up just belt and braces, so I've used waterfall foam and that ran out, so I've used silicone and filled that up. But this now is a large overhang, and we've put the skirt into the garden to catch all the rain. We've got an overhang here, and in the event of wind, like I explained for the other end, I can just box this in. But we've just got to be aware of fumes and light. So Matt needs to be able to work in the daylight, and he needs to be able to work safely so the fumes can actually get out of this structure. I've actually walked on top of here, so structurally it's absolutely fine. Anybody that's building a structure similar to this, I would heartily recommend the company called Polyfast. I think it's in Wales. £31.99 delivered, and it took less than 24 hours. This stuff is amazing. Fingers crossed, Matt could be coming Saturday. Today is Thursday. So just 2 more sleepless nights, because that's all it's done. Sleepless night. The soakaway is here. We had to have it 5 metres from the house and 2.5 metres from the boundary. This is 1 metre by 1 metre by 1 metre, and this turned into a bog during winter time. But we needed it, we couldn't have it any other way. So if you ever see videos with that, it's because there's a soakaway under there. We've pinned down the side skirt just with some copings. That should keep that secure. It's actually raining now again, which means that we had about 10 minutes break from rain, and it's back to raining again. But it's dry and it's warm. So fingers crossed. So far so good. get your jab. Get your second jab. Look after your family. Stay safe. Bye.